Welcome to another episode of the Goddess Sugar Podcast. I trust that you are arriving in gratitude, love, and all the magic the universe has to offer because you are very much magical. A gentle reminder before we dive in, everything that I speak about on my podcast comes from my personal truth, experiences, and journey. Take what resonates with your spirit and leave what doesn't. This is a space for exploration and not perfection. Trust your own path and let's walk this magical journey together. Before any episode, I think it's important for me to acknowledge the people and the forces that have brought me here today. Thank you to my divine pantheon for trusting me with your ancestral wisdom. Thank you to Spirit for being all things. Thank you to the universe for holding the cosmic beauty of our infinity. Thank you to my ancestors who walked before me. Thank you to my sacred guides for holding my hand every step of the way. Thank you to my family, friends, mentors, teachers, and the collective who support me in this physical realm. And thank you to myself for daring to live as the goddess that I am. Hey goddess, hey, what's going on? We are back for another episode of the Goddess Sugar Podcast, okay? I have my herbs, I got the incense, I got everything, okay? So the vibes are here. Okay, so today's episode is a permission slip to choose you. We are going to be talking about what it means to disappoint the world but honor yourself. Because let's be honest, you're not here to perform for anyone, and you're definitely not here to make everyone comfortable. You are here to live freely, boldly, and in alignment with your truth. Let's talk about the courage to stop being a people pleaser and live your fucking truth, period. My whole thing is there's always going to be someone disappointed with anything that you do. It doesn't matter what the act is or what you're doing. Someone's always going to feel like you should have did that better. Someone's going to feel like you did it the best way you knew how. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, if whatever I do is going to disappoint someone anyway, then I might as well make myself happy. That's the way I look at it. Also, something to remember, the world that we live in is about perspective. It's all about perspective. And honestly, in my opinion, we all have our own way of looking at things, but that doesn't mean that someone is right or wrong. You know, it just is what it is. Does that make sense? Like, just because person A sees something one way doesn't mean they're right. Just because I see something one way doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just living in my truth. You feel me? If there's always going to be someone who disapproves of what you do, you might as well make yourself happy. Because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to get the most fulfillment, is if you're making yourself happy. If you choose to live your life based on making other people happy, you know who's going to be miserable? You. And 9 times out of 10, those people that you're trying to make happy, they're still not going to be happy with what you're doing. So you might as well do what you want to do. Do what makes your heart feel juicy. It makes it jump. You know what I'm saying? And do it the way you want to do it. I think this main concept really was something that was a challenge for me growing up. And it was the needing to fit into expectation, you know? So I feel like obviously when people meet you, they have this perception of you, right? And we all do it. Like, even I do it. You know, you meet somebody and you automatically you're like, okay, this is you. And that's how you see them. That is what they are in your mind. But here's the thing. I don't think as people, we really allow space in our mind for people to grow. You get what I'm saying? And to pivot and to change. Because have you ever noticed, like, if you're ever going through like a transformation yourself, or if you're trying to pivot in your life, and do you notice that like some people try to keep you in the box that they put you in? Yeah. You have to get out of this mindset of trying to fit into people's expectations. The reality is, baby, you aren't meant to fit anywhere because you're just that big. Okay? We got to understand this. So that's the thing. You did not come here to rise up to other people's expectations. That's not your way. You were not born to do that. You're going to be miserable if you try to do that. If you're always trying to reach person A, person C, person Z, and what they think of me. Why do we give a fuck? Like, no, that is not the wave at all. The reality is you came here to shine. You came here to be the fullest, most optimal expression of yourself. And that's gonna make hella people uncomfortable. I'm not even gonna say the world. I don't even think it's the world. I want to say it's the system. Let's call it the matrix. Y'all get what I'm saying? The matrix, the system wants you to shrink yourself, and it's like we have to pop out of that. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not fair. You came here to be big, and whatever your soul mission is, it is your duty to carry that out. And so in order for you to carry that out, you need to be able to express who and what you are. And please don't forget, you are a facet, you are an extension of spirit, okay? Of the universe itself. Do you know how big that is? And you trying to stay like this. Look, you trying to stay like this, okay? And you like past my screen. Do you see what I'm saying? So we can't do that. You came here to shine, baby, period. And I feel like a lot of us get into this concept at a young age, because if you think about it, right, I'm gonna give an example. So we all know, all of us were like maybe in elementary, middle, high school, whatever. Who was the student in the class that always got the most attention, that was praised a lot? It was usually the teacher's pet type of student, right? The one who had all the answers to all the questions, the one that had to make themselves known, just doing the absolute fucking most. But it was those students that got the praise, right? It was those students that was the expectation. And see, those little things that we experience in school and different situations in our life start to mold us into what society thinks we should be. But really, that student that I'm talking about, that was all that people pleasing energy. You get what I'm saying? But see, we fall into that because it's like, oh, if I people please, then I get praised. You know what I'm saying? If I do this, I get praised. Which really, when you're seeking praise, you're really seeking validation and you're really seeking acceptance. That's really what that is. At the root of it, that's what that is. But here's the thing. External validation, getting a head nod from someone else, that's temporary. That's fleeting. However, the inner peace that you have by actually choosing you and your happiness, that is forever. Your happiness is sacred. Choosing you is not selfish. It's all the way in alignment. And I need you to understand this, so I'm going to say it again. Choosing you, prioritizing you, loving on you is not selfish. It's alignment. Because let's be honest, being the martyr is not the vibe at all. That's something that is conditioned into us. It's embedded into us. Or if I sacrifice myself, if I sacrifice my happiness, if I sacrifice my desire, I'm going to be a good person. Please. No, we need to get rid of that false narrative. Being the martyr gets you nothing but being violated and being tossed to the side. No one asks the martyr how they feel. No one asks the martyr, did this make you happy? No, they just, thank you for sacrificing yourself. Gold star. No, we're not doing that. So yeah, like, no. Choose yourself, prioritize yourself, and this may trigger some people. Back to something I've said before, you have to ask yourself, what role are you playing in your own suffering? That can be something as simple as not choosing yourself. Not choosing yourself cost you. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but as time goes on, you start to see the result of people who do not choose themselves, and it's not cute and it's not pretty. So we need to start choosing ourselves today. And that's something I had to get over, because for the longest, I carried that martyr energy. You know, I was the one who was like, I'm going to sacrifice myself so other people can be happy and so other people can be pleased with me. And I realized that was part of the reason why I felt so bad inside. I didn't know to identify it like that, but that's what it was. And if I'm being honest, if that's something that you're feeling like in your life, that could be a reason why. It's because you don't choose yourself. And honestly, like, for example, like with depression, like when people get depressed, part of that reason is because you're not living in alignment with your full expression. You're not living in alignment with who you really want to be. And so I feel like depression, honestly, it could be caused by many things, right? But I feel like what I'm talking about, that type of depression is just simply caused by you not choosing you. And your soul knows this, because it's like, I came here to do something. I came here to shine, and you trying to stay small? You trying to sacrifice yourself? Absolutely not. So now you have this internal battle with yourself, and it does cause a lot of inner turmoil. So once I got out of that and I decided, you know what? I'm going to choose myself. It was hard at first, but I'm so glad that that is a practice I engage in all the time. And that's the thing. People think that when you choose yourself, that it has to be like an arrogant way. No, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean that you don't love your family or that you don't love your friends or whoever. It simply means that I am prioritizing me. I am loving on me, because you know who needs my energy the most? This girl. This girl. If you have extra energy to spare and you want to share it, then you do that on your accord. But you don't share your energy because you feel obligated to do so, because you feel forced to do so, because that is going to cause an internal battle within, and it's not cute. As I said before, when I started to choose myself, I'm not gonna lie, it felt good, but I also felt so much guilt. I felt so much shame. You know, when I was like, I'm going to choose me and what I want to do, because for these years, even if people didn't see how I put them before I put myself, I did it. And I was the one suffering with the battle inside. And so that's why I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of people who don't even know how you sacrificed yourself for them. They'll never know, but you know, and you know how that feels. Think about that and be like, I don't want to feel that anymore. I'm not going to lie to you, sis. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting to disappoint people, to not reach people's expectations, you know, for people maybe to make you feel like you've done something wrong, which you haven't. It is going to sting. I'm not even going to lie to you. But let me tell you this, disappointing yourself stings even worse. That feeling of knowing that you betrayed yourself, knowing that you didn't choose that decision that will actually make you happy, knowing that you disappointed yourself hurts way more than disappointing any human on this earth, period. When you live for others, you are literally robbing yourself of the human experience that you came here to have. Now, you may not believe this, I don't know, but for me, I believe that before we reincarnate, we have a pretty good idea of what we came here to do. We chose what we wanted to experience. So it's like, if you know that you came here to have a magical fucking life and be a fairy, a goddess, whatever, but you're sitting here living for other people and not living as big as you're supposed to, sis, that's not good. That's not okay. Don't rob yourself of your human experience. You have to understand, saying no is also saying yes to something else, okay? So in times where you may have to say no to someone, you're saying yes to yourself, right? Okay. So think of it that way. When you choose yourself, yeah, you may have to say no to that opportunity. You may have to say no to that event. You may have to say no to that phone call, but it's okay. And I say this all the time. I feel like people who really love you and who really respect you will respect your boundaries. So that's what I'm getting at. Yes, there are going to come times where you have to say no to others in order to say yes to yourself, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna say that one more time. There is nothing wrong with saying yes to yourself. I'm gonna say this again too. Just because you say yes to yourself does not mean you don't love others, that you don't care, that you don't want to show up. But like I said, you need you the most. People may not understand your choice to choose you and prioritize you, because let's just be real. Most of the world is living in that conditioned state where they're not choosing themselves. They're choosing to be small. You're not living your human experience to the fullest. Let that be their choice. It doesn't have to be your choice though. You get what I'm saying? So people don't have to understand why you make the decisions that you make. Okay? As long as you understand, you and God had a conversation, everybody else mind your business. You're not here to be understood, love. You're really not. You're a goddess. You're a queen. You're a star. Your shine is not meant to be understood by everyone. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You're not here to live for anybody. The people who get it, get it. And the people who don't, they're not meant to. Simple as that. The reality is, sis, when you start choosing yourself, there are going to be people that make you feel like the villain. There's going to be people who try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. Here's the reality, love. You're always going to be a hero in someone's story, and you're always going to be a villain in someone else's. So if those people make you a villain in their story because you're choosing yourself, let it be then. You know what I'm saying? Every story needs a villain, right? No tea, no shade. But I'm just saying, don't worry about that. You're the hero in your story. Okay, you are the Wonder Woman in your story, and that's all that matters, period. I will say this from my own personal experience. True fulfillment comes from when you choose to be unapologetic about who you are and what you are. See, again, a lot of us go through these struggles inside because it's two of us battling. It's the conditioned self that's like, no. We need to stay this way. We got to stay safe. We got to fit into the box. And it's this other one that's like, fuck all that. I came here to do something. You know what I mean? That's the thing about it, is that let's just cut the internal war and let's do what we came here to do. I know that when I actually started to choose showing up as the expressive goddess that I am, that's when I felt balanced. That's when I felt at peace truly in this world, is me. When I got back to me, when I remembered me. Okay. So love, I want you to understand, it is important to remember you. It's important to remember who you are. It's important to remember your happiness. Now, I know there is some of y'all that have been disconnected with who and what you are and your happiness for a long time. But here's the thing. That happiness that you're seeking is all within. So you know what that means? It hasn't gone anywhere. It may have got lost a little bit, maybe a little foggy, but it's still there. You just have to make the divine decision to remember what you are, okay? To remember your happiness. And once you remember that happiness, what makes you feel juicy inside, okay? Choose that every single day. Something I really want you to take away from this episode is that happiness is your birthright. It does not have to be earned. You don't have to overwork for it. It's already yours, love. I really affirm that this episode reminded you of your power and your worth as a goddess. And remember that a goddess chooses what makes her feel juicy and happy inside. And I hope maybe this reminded you to just breathe and love and go back within. You do not have to earn your happiness, your rest, your peace, your joy, your abundance, your prosperity. It's already yours. You just have to claim it, okay? The world is gonna feel how it feels about your life, about who you are, but don't abandon yourself to make other people happy, because the reality is happiness doesn't come from the external, it's internal. Until next time, love, continue to choose you over and over and over and over and over. You're not selfish. You're sovereign. Period. Stay calm. And remember, even when life tries to throw salt in your sugar, be a goddess anyway. Peace and blessings. Much love. Ciao, ciao. Ashe. Until next time, love. XOXO.